wife had to come and take the telephone from me because I was just sobbing.
I believe it's a lie. Enemies of the faith are spreading the news that the guardian has passed away.
We were, I must confess, in a terrible shape. We knew that Shoghi Effendi had no children.
The Baha'i community, they were so accustomed to having the guardian around and his guidance that they could not think of how things will be without him. After the passing of the guardian, Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum called on the hands to come together to Haifa. And their first job was to find out if there was a will and testament. They appointed 9 members amongst them to check the office of the guardian, and Dr. Bargha was one of the 9.
The hands went into Shoghi Effendi's study, to his office.
And Amatul Baha delivered the keys of the safe and everything, and asked that you are free to go everywhere and investigate if you can find a will and testament. And I remember maybe 2 or 3 hours we were investigating about that. And the other hands were waiting in Bahti.
They broke the seals, they opened the safety box.
We looked everywhere, everywhere. We didn't find anything.
Shoghi Effendi was the head of the faith. He was the infallible interpreter of Baha'i holy writings. There was no house of justice yet, and there was no guardian. And this was a very, very dangerous moment for the Baha'i community.
Now, this was the job of the Hands of the Cause to steer the Baha'i world at this moment, in this situation which happened so suddenly and so unexpectedly. I think the thing that has come across to me from that period was their trust in the covenant and their absolute knowledge that the covenant would see the faith through this period.
In 1963, at the 100th anniversary of Baha'u'llah's declaration, the election of the first Universal House of Justice took place in the house of Abdul Baha in Haifa, Israel.
At the moment of the election, the hands did something which was unique. The men and women who had control of an international religious community asked the electors not to vote for them, which means what? Turning over the authority to this body to be elected, of which they would not be members, which they would serve, which would have authority over them.
And I do remember Adib saying that he felt that when the tellers came out to make the announcement of the members of the first Universal House of Justice, he said, there was a palpable sigh of relief from the Hands of the Cause of God. They had carried the faith to this moment, and this was the moment then when that responsibility for them had been fulfilled and the new institution, the Universal House of Justice, came into being.
The Universal House of Justice is the supreme ruling body of the faith and the heart of the Baha'i World Center in Haifa, Israel. The House oversees both the spiritual and administrative aspects of the Baha'i faith. Even on the international scale, the House operates much as the local spiritual assemblies do, with 9 members collectively deciding on the issues of the faith. From the World Center, the Baha'is maintain their visibility in the world community. In international organizations like the United Nations, Baha'is believe that the seed of mankind's potential is beginning to form.
ونصف من صعوده انتخب البهائيون في العالم بيت العدل الأعظم كما صوره حضرة بهاء الله ووصفه بوضوح حضرة عبد البهاء وولي أمر الله.